Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another Flea Market Finds episode. Today is July 9th, 2023, and this is all stuff that I picked today from the outdoor flea market. Ended up being a pretty short day for me. The sun is kind of trying to burn through the haze right now, but it's completely overcast, and it was much worse this morning. There was even a mist going on, so I think that kind of kept enough of the dealers away, and it kept the crowd away. So I was able to get there early and go through several times as a few late straggler dealers came in and set up, and I was out of there. I was probably home by 10 o'clock. So anyways, didn't get a whole lot, but I did get some good deals here. So everything, this was a one trip back to the car. Sometimes I have to go 2-3 times back to the car and unload. All of this stuff was able to fit in the backpack and carry it around. One trip back to the car. We're going to blow right through this right now. I think my total spend on this was probably around 80 bucks. But there's some nice little finds in here. Matter of fact, there's one find in here that may or may not be a real sleeper. Alright, so let me reposition the camera. And it's such a nice warm day. We're going to do things right out here on the patio table. Let's start off with this little grouping right here. I had been walking around for a while already and hadn't bought one thing. It was really kind of getting a little discouraged. And then I came across this guy, and I happened to notice that he had this bottle of Husqvarna bar and chain oil. And, you know, it's been open, but it's actually full up to here. So when I can get something like this for $1, I usually jump on it, and I asked him, I said, well, what do you figure on the oil, like $1? And I thought he was going to say $1 a piece would be okay, and he said, sure. And he ended up giving me this for free, which this is actually Steel HP Ultra 2-stroke oil for making your premix, and it's full synthetic, makes 2.5 gallons, and it's unopened, brand new. So that was a great deal for $1. And this, I was worried he was going to want too much for, and he said, how about $2? And I don't know much about it. It is by Stanley. It's almost like a Multitool, but it's got kind of this funky deal with this little hatchet built into it. And I've never seen anything like this. I like to pick up Leatherman multi-tools when I find them. If I can buy them right. I almost never pay more than 20, or I think the last one I paid decent money for was like, I paid 25, I think, for one that had a leather holster. The original leather holster that said Leatherman on it. Usually I end up picking them up for 10, 15 tops. This is not a Leatherman, this is a Stanley, but I just thought it was kind of neat. And I don't know if anybody knows much about this, the history on this or whatever. So it's got this fatal flaw from what I can tell, which is that this super sharp blade is just kind of out there. So my theory is that originally there would have been a leather or some sort of a sheath that went over this to protect this and keep you from injuring yourself and others. I didn't even check these other things to see. Okay, so the blade's in good blade hasn't been sharpened by some hack and ground to nothing, so that's nice. We've got a can opener. We got a small Phillips head screwdriver. Oh, got a little saw. We got a file with a flathead screwdriver in the end. And then, like I said, we've got this hatchet from Heck. And then we also have a, well, I guess you can do 2 size nuts with this thing. One there and one there. It's a very interesting little tool. Oh, that saw is sharper than I thought it would be. There you go. Cut yourself on camera, you fool. Haha. Those of you who were hoping to see blood, not today. It's not from that tool. And that guy was a really good deal. So what I think is probably the best pick of the whole day, I also bought from that guy. I asked him how much he wanted for him, and he said $5. And I said, okay. I gave him his $5, and I'm going to show you those at the end of the video because I think those are really neat. In the meantime, let's show you the rest of the stuff. So the rest of this stuff is kind of like one-offs where I I picked like, you know, 1 or 2 items here and there from, these all from different deals. Like this one guy, all I bought from him was this. You know, and something like this, I usually don't bother asking what they want for it, because they usually might say something that I don't want to pay anyways. So rather than waste their time, I'll pick something like this up and I'll just say, hey, would you take $1 for this? And he did. So this is Armor All brand Ultra Shine Wash and Wax. This can be used with a spray-on dispenser, or for hand washing, just mix it in a bucket. You can always use car wash. This actually, dealer who I buy from an awful lot was kind enough to give me this as a freebie. This is a genuine snap-on, I think they call these speed wrenches. So I have one of these. I think it's a no-name. It's the smaller type. And I actually really like having one of these. But the one that I have is just completely buggered. It just... the ratchet mechanism inside is all messed up. This one seems to be working perfectly fine. It's 3/8 drive. It's got a little lever you flip right here to change direction, which is interesting as opposed to the thing on the back like my other one. So I don't know what this is worth, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to keep it. And speaking of, you know, don't know what it's worth, but I'm probably going to end up keeping it. This is another little thing I came across. This and these 3 little items right here. First, I bought these 3 items from the guy for $1 a piece. So I got a Starrett jeweler's screwdriver, the only Starrett punch he had in his whole collection, and this no-name hex drive to 1/2-inch adapter. So this is so you can use your 1/2-inch sockets with your small 1/4-inch impact, which I don't think I have one this size, so I was glad to get that for $1. That'll go in my personal arsenal, along with this item that I got from that same guy, which I ended up getting for $3. I offered him 2 and he said, how about 3? And I said, sure. So this is the Starrett, by Starrett, the Hidden Edge Pro Sight tool. But I gotta tell you, this has got to be my favorite tool that I've bought in a while. And I didn't know anything about it when I first bought it. I got this for $3. You can buy this right now on Amazon for $21. I'm going to put the link in the description so you guys can click on the link and go and buy one of these, because I'll tell you, once I show you what this is and how it works, you're gonna probably want one if you don't already own one. So this is called the Hidden Edge. It's sold by Starrett, fine tool maker. This is probably made for them overseas by the looks of it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't care, because this is a utility knife. We all have used utility knives, or most of us probably use them all the time, or, you know, find different uses for them. But what's cool about this one is this is an auto retracting utility knife. So instead of having that button usually on the top, you get to push down and pull back, and you can lock the blade forward, but the blade is always out. Well, the way this works is you've got a button on the back here. Once you push this button in, that unlocks this lever. All you're going to do is pull it, blade comes out. Do your cuts, done using it, no problem. Now that's if you pushed it all the way in. If you want it to automatically retract, you just push it part way in. And then what happens is, as soon as you let go, it retracts and locks again. So you can have either the mode where as soon as you're done working, it relocks automatically, or you push it in all the way in it for doing quick multiple cuts. In addition to that, it has this thumb wheel on the back here. And this is a fine adjustment for blade depth. You see, I've got the blade all the way out, right? If I want to set the blade to the thickness of cardboard in a box, like this for instance, so that if I want it just sticking out the slightest bit, so that I can guarantee that I don't cut whatever is in the box, I can do that, okay? So it's a fine adjust for the blade. Blade changes couldn't be easier. You rotate the blade adjustment so the blade's fully extended. Then you press this button right here, which is the blade change button, and the blade comes right out. Put a new blade in, you just keep that button depressed, put the new blade in, release it, it's locked in again. And last but not least, we have spare blades stored right here in this handle. So all you got to do to get to the spare blades is pull down on this little tab right here and then pull this open. This opens up like that, okay? And now you reach through the window and you just slide, and there's your new blade ready to go. Click it like that and it locks again. And it's locked. So there you go. My new favorite utility knife. The Starrett Hidden Edge. Like I said, for like around 20 bucks, 21 bucks on Amazon, you can pick one of these up for yourself. The link will be in the description. So, all right, what else do we have here? This I got from a dealer. It's a parallel clamp, machinist parallel clamp. I do not believe there is a name on it. Plain generic one. It's not. It's pretty rusty, but it's not seized up, and I got it for $1. This is a nice Starrett tape measure. It's a Starrett steel rule. I don't remember. Oh, here we go. This is a 50-footer. So this is an HW530 is the Starrett part number for this. And he had this sticker on it for $5, and I asked him if he'd take 3, and he said sure. So I got this for $3, and it's got some black stuff, something sticky it must have been up against that's kind of on here. So other than this, it's actually in really nice shape. The blade looks very clean. Lots of times you see a lot of scratches and stuff on the blade, indicating that it had a lot of use. Not this one. This one is nice and clean. And you just push this button in like that, and that pops out the crank, so you can reel it back in, and then just click it back in like that. So to get this again, to get this out, you push on this side. And then another dealer had no machinist tools whatsoever, and then all of a sudden I happened to spot in a box full of his junk a Multitool case, and I was like, oh, wonder what's in there. Wonder if it's empty. And no, an actual Multitool Absolute Digimatic caliper. An earlier one that does absolutely nothing, indicating more than likely a dead battery. So this is a little bizarre. This appears to be a quill for a fountain pen, maybe. I don't know. Pretty sure that does not belong in here. So I called the guy over to ask him what he wanted for that, and he opened up the case and looked at it, and I was thinking, oh, please don't say too much, because I don't want to take a chance on these things. Lots of times, you know, sometimes it is just a battery. Sometimes it's something much worse. So he said, how about $5? I said, sure. $5, I'll take a chance. Alright guys, moment of truth here. Put a new battery in and see what happens. Oh, look at that, they woke right up. Let's see, this was 0 on, there we go. They seem to be working fine. Alright, they're in millimeters. Let's put them into inch mode. There we go. These are not counterfeits. I could tell just by the fact that there are 4 zeros after the decimal point. Always a good sign. So these might not be auto shut off, so they get that going against them. But they are absolute Digimatics, so they're still a good usable pair of digital calipers for somebody. Going to be a nice cheap pair for somebody. I don't know why that wouldn't turn on with this battery. This battery's making a whole 1.2 volts. Yeah. So you notice, not very much as far as machinist tools go this trip. Well, that problem was solved by one of my regular dealers that I go to having shown up today. And he had some new stuff that I hadn't seen before, and I was able to buy quite a bit from him. Not a lot of money. I think this whole pile I'm going to show you right now came to 43 bucks or so. I do know that $10 of it was right here. This is the number 384 Starrett parallels. These are 3/8 by 3/4. I don't know if Starrett even sold these as pairs like this, because every time I've seen them, they've been in like sets. So, but these are in really nice shape. So they were worth the 10 bucks to me. We also talked about this interesting old surface gauge. It's got a neat look to it. We both liked the way it looked. We both agreed that it's probably something somebody just made, maybe back in the day. Hard to say for sure. But, I almost lost this piece. Oh yeah, so what I started to say about this weird little thing is the way that this part right here, which I guess would be the clamping nut, works. That's it. Lose the pieces, why don't you? So we got this funky little two-piece deal here with a taper. Okay. So, and then we got a tapered hole right here, right? So, or countersunk hole. So this goes through like this, right? Put this washer on. And when we tighten this nut, all right, it should pull this in. But it's not pulling this side in because, all right, so this is broken. So it's kind of a weird design. So this is not supposed to be broken off completely, but this would have been designed to have this split in it like this, so that the clamping effect would happen. So I think, if I recall correctly, yeah, when I picked this up, it had this drill bit in it. And I see now the reason why the drill bit was in here was because you have to have something in here for this clamping to take effect. Okay? And then it actually stays in there pretty securely. So I don't know, maybe that was two pieces to begin with. I don't know. It's funky. But anyway, that's why this was $2. And for $2, I just like the look of it. And then I think this Stanley number 38 level, which I have one of these now. I got two of these. The bubble's intact. $2. I think he said he wanted 10 for this. This is a, all right, so it looks like a tiny vise, but more correctly, it's a tool maker's clamp, and it's a little bit larger than the Starrett version of this. And this is some homebrewed deal that some guy made as a project. It's pretty decent though. I think I paid 10 for this. That's like 24. I think $2 for this screw jack. He only had the one. And I think I paid 5 for this guy right here, which is, this is one of these little mini mag bases, which I've had a few of these, and then it's got the indicator, the rod, the snug on it for the rod for an indicator. But what's unusual about this one is it has this magnifier at the end, and it's an Enco magnifier, 5 power. So it needs to be cleaned up, but it's not broken. The way you turn these magnets on and off is you take these two little bars off, and that's it. It's pretty much, it's like always on. Well, this is a cast aluminum table, so it's not going to work on this, but there you go. Then I think he charged me $5 for this little clamp on vise. It's made in Germany. Jaws are in really great shape. And I think a couple bucks for this clamp, unmarked, no name on it. A couple bucks for this little Starrett number 46 depth gauge. So if you've never seen one of these before, Sometimes people find these and they think that it's missing a piece because of this slot in this hole right here, and that's actually by design. You can just relocate this snug into this other hole and put the blade over here, so you can have it offset or centered. And last but not least from him was this little chuck. It's got a look to it like it may have come off of a jeweler's lathe. It's not in the greatest of shape. I noticed when you close it up, jaws don't look like they are seating so great. So I have my doubts that anything snugged in this would run true. This could also have come off of some other machine, like a specialized lathe used for dressing valves or seats. Valve seats. Oh, this is interesting. How about that design? How do you like them apples? Well, this whole thing comes right apart for easy cleaning. Alright. Jaws are numbered just like the... so there's a 68 on the chuck right here, and each one of the jaws has a 68 on it. And then somewhere on each jaw there should be another number that corresponds to these numbers 1, 2, and 3. So that when you take this apart, you can make sure you put all 3 jaws back in the correct location. So I don't know, I got this for like $2 or $5. But like I said, that whole group right there was like I don't know, 40, 43 or something like that, 45 tops. All right, so now remember I said that I got something for $5 that might be the sleeper, the big deal. Voila! What appeared to me to be very early shackles for a prisoner, maybe. Maybe leg irons, and I'm not sure whether they're leg irons or not. Part of me thinks that they are leg irons because the chain between them that holds the two together is pretty long. It's probably over 3 feet of chain between the two. And then right in the middle is this ring, and the ring tends to indicate to me like this was made to be like hooked up. So like maybe you would put the leg irons on one of the prisoners, and then you'd be able to hook this up to another chain with maybe a whole nother group of prisoners. So like if you were marching them out to get onto a truck or, you know, a transport or something like that, or maybe even working a chain gang, I don't know. I mean, it would be great if I had some provenance to this that, you know, showed that these were used for a particular prison or something. So if anybody knows anything about identifying these kind of things, they've got a couple of clues on them. The only markings that I could find on here were on... Okay, so right here on this one, so right there it's stamped number 85, okay? It's got some kind of like decoration or something done to the end here. This one is not marked with a number, and this is the key, and the key is stamped with the same number 85 to indicate that this key was to go with these irons. So how do they work? Well, the way they work is this key is almost like a screw. So what you have to do is you have to turn this in far enough so that this disengages, okay? And then, when you close these, if I turn the screw out, okay, they lock. And then if I continue to turn the screw out, I can take the screw, I can call it a screw. If I continue to turn this key out, it eventually just it releases from here. So now this is still locked. Okay, and then I could take this now, I could put it in this one. And unlock this one. Works under the same principle. So kind of neat. So I don't know, but they look early. Unless they're reproductions that have just made to be, you know, made to look old, then I gotta believe these are worth more than $5. Well, I ended up going online and I found that there's a website called handcuffs.org, which has a ton of information on vintage handcuffs, leg irons, and other types of vintage restraints. And there's a gallery in there that you can look through and look at all different kinds of photographs. And what I noticed as a recurring theme was that all of the cuffs or leg irons that had this design were being listed as Darby type. That's D-A-R-B-Y, and an English manufacturer. And apparently there was a company named Hyatt, H-I-A-T-T, I believe, from England, that was known for this Darby design. I think there may have been some other English manufacturers also that may have done these, but the common theme with these is that they appear to be a Darby design from England. And if they are in fact that, they are probably 19th century. So it would be the 1800s, which makes sense. You know, they've got that look to them. What I thought was a design on the end here, upon further inspection, it appears to me that this is not a decorative design, that this is actually functional. I think these are actually staking marks. I think that this is a metal plug in the end here, and that gets inserted, and then these marks right here, these are done with a staking punch to actually pin this piece in there. So anyways, kind of neat. Just thought I'd share that little bit of information with you before we close out this video. All right, so that's going to bring this video to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed this flea market finds segment. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, and also please consider sharing this video. Take care.